Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Howdy, and welcome to Spa. It's iGPFun Formula 3 times presented by SRP. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Charles Bachel. You're here live watching Apex Racing TV, and we're here at the lovely circuit de Spa Francorchamps, which I definitely just botched it right there, but we're not going to talk about it. We're here at Spa. Charles, it's one of the most popular tracks in the world, one of the most well-looked upon tracks in the world, and it features one of the most famous corners sections in the world. It's Spa, baby. How are you feeling about today?
Oh, wow. You know, it is actually not just one of the most popular tracks in the world. It's one of the most popular tracks in iRacing. It's just lights out.
Also the world.
As hard as you can go. Every corner, you've got tight turns, you've got some just medium section of the track, and of course, you know, those famous you mentioned earlier, Aru, Radion, going up the hill to the Kimmel Straight. It's just this is going to be a really fun race to watch. Because it's going to be lots of drafting, lots of 3 wide up the hill, maybe more. Depends on how many cars they can fit across the track. I think there's going to be a little bit of chaos because there usually is when you're talking about Spa. There's usually a little bit of chaos.
This layout of Spa is not the regular layout. This is the classic pit, so we'll be starting on the opposite side of La Source, heading up through El Rouge and Radion. So classic pit start immediately up the hill, and immediately after that hill, that is where you can actively overtake. So I'm expecting a lot of racing heading into the Kimmel straightaway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to be 3 wide, 4 wide. As people are you get the draft, and it's good for probably 0.3 of a second just on the straight. And so people will say, "Oh, I've got pace. Let me get around this car in front," and then not realizing that you probably can't go there. And then, hey, you're not really as fast as you think you are, which is always the other part of that, right? And you add that to the fact this is a 60-car grid, just lends itself to some violence.
It absolutely it does. I'm looking extremely forward to this race. We're currently in qualifying right now, and you can look at the arrow set up by a few of these drivers. A lot of them going for that, what I like to call the aluminum plank. Just a little bar of a rear wing, no drag whatsoever. They want it to be as fast as possible down that straightaway. And that's where most of these drivers are going to try to gain that speed, but this is qualifying. Race setup for a few of these drivers might be a little bit different. A little birdie told me that they've ran out of fuel, of the recommended fuel amount, so it's going to be a very interesting way on how most of these drivers tackle this race. It's going to be a long race. We're going to be seeing drivers struggling with fuel, struggling with traffic, and struggling with track limits as well. Very easy to get an on track right here, and like we just saw with Giovanni Pagodo, that was outlined in the rule book that if you go 4 wheels off that, if you hit that corner, the no-name corner, with intent to go all 4 wheels off the track, you might be penalized for it.
Yeah, it's easier. That's one of the corners that's real easy to take off track.
It's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done to keep it between the lines. So yeah, that's going to be something we're going to have to watch out for during this race. Yeah, it's good to have, as you can see, what I was about to talk about with the 18 car. It's good to have that straight line speed, but you sacrifice, and where you sacrifice is the downforce going into these medium speed corners and low speed corners. You just don't have the downforce to get the car around, and you're going to end up, as the 18 was, you're going to end up in the wall. And that's race done at that point.
100%. Do you want to sacrifice your top end speed for a little bit of stability, save these tires, or do you want to be the one that's going to be able to be tackling that speed? But like you say, this is qualifying, so we don't know the setups of these drivers are going to be running with throughout the day. I myself prefer high downforce because I love me some free positions.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a downforce guy too. The more downforce, the more stable I am to the corners, the better I'm going to race. So,
and that's why we're in the commentary booth, because none of us are actually fast enough to actually compete in this series.
That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct.
You don't actually have to qualify to be in the series. But speaking of drivers out on track and getting into the series, well, drivers, if you weren't here earlier today when this session opened up and all these spots were taken up faster, and somebody said, hey, free hotcakes for sale, and then they all just swarmed over there. It's like the light at Krispy Kreme Donuts is on. You know what I'm talking about if you're American.
I know what you're talking about.
And there are 60 cars on the grid here today. 60. This grid is going to be jam-packed, action-packed. A lot of fun's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I logged into the session and I saw it said closed, it's like, okay. So luckily I don't have to. I can just watch. But like I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think there are going to be battles all over the track. It's going to be tough to keep up with the moves that are going on. But we'll do the best we can, and we'll have some fun while we're at it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be having some fun up here in our Apex Racing TV commentary box. And I can tell you, of everybody else who is not in this race and watching up on YouTube, y'all are going to have some great fun out there as well. As these drivers, well, they're certainly going to be having some fun out there on track as we are looking at our drivers right now, all the way down to 58th place. Dorian Arroyo, 2.9 seconds separates the entire 60-car field.
That's crazy.
That is
crazy.
That's pretty close for 60 cars.
I mean, a second and a half of that may just be just getting a tow around the track.
Yes.
So it's probably tighter than that. So this is going to be a very interesting race to watch.
All I can say is lap on, buckle your seatbelt, sit down, do not move. It's gonna be a show, and all of us here are gonna have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be, like I said, more fun for us than it will be for these guys. They're going to be sweating for the next hour or so.
And speaking of sweat, I'm about to sweat right now. We got 60 cars on the grid, and I got 2 minutes. I've already messed it up. Gianfranco Pagodo starts up out on pole ahead of Jesper Sandstrom, followed by Max Bartolota, Theodore Bergeson, Lee Aberdeen, Evan Way, Samuel Herbert, followed by Nicholas Westman, Christian Glam, Center Victor Barrison, Julio Policio, followed by Georg Kelstrup in 12th place, followed by Kenzie Nightwolf, Gavin Petty, Alex Salado, Kevin Zwemstra, Luca Ferrani, Pedro Soares, Andy Flint, Sebastian Gravlund, Will McIntyre Jones, Clark Williams, Philip Lucas, and Lucas Marouk. Stephen Ritter, Adam Talisman, Ervins, Tumakans, Ryan Berry, Slack Williams, Shaq Williams, Kuji Ido, Richard Van Veen, Marquez Otlas, Stu Millen, Zolta Zometer, Robert Ridgway, followed by Oldest Budakis, Marcelo Kessler, Alan Lee, Edward Ambos, Reed Dennis, Potopenko, Yours Bloom, Case Isaac, Reno Scatini, Paolo Breme, Daniel Merchant, John McKenzie, and Robert Doyle in 48th. They're followed by Tom Bindloss, Arturo Megora, John Welsh, Ben Goyette, Matt Brewer, John Hernandez, Giovanni Saletto, Nick Cardi, Matthew Gracie, Dorian Arroyo, Maximilian Gerhardt, and Jose Arroyo at the end of our 60-car grid.
Well done.
And we got like 40 seconds left, so I went way faster than I needed to.
Yeah, that was nice.
I know I went fast forward last week when we had that weird glitch where we just hit fast forward and I started talking at 2 times the speed. So I think I'm still in that mode right there. But you know, I think it's because I just went to auctioneering school. We just I just kept going on.
That would have a lot to do with it.
I think me talking at 2 times the speed is just like 5 times as fast as anybody else can talk. So as we all line up on the grid.
All right.
Our clock is run out, so it's time for our 5 red lights to come on. It's time to get ready to rock and roll here at Spa. It's IGP fun time. Let's go racing, boys.
All right, nice easy start. We know we can't pass until we get through this section right here.
Look at the smart positioning by Sandstrom immediately in that track. Now they can go for that overtaking right now. So he's in that draft. He's already looking onto the outside. They go side by side. Pagodo's defending onto the inside. They're going side by side. Pagodo's on the inside. Sandstrom's on the outside. Still side by side. Everybody else behind him and just kind of checking up. Sandstrom round the outside for the lead of the race.
Yeah, it was a quick move to the outside and just made it stick.
Made it stick, made it work, and made it look easy.
Palacio off.
Oh, no.
Into the wall.
First car into the wall is Julio right there. It's not going to be good for him.
I can tell you, hit nose first, so don't really know if he's got damage or not, if there was any other contact with another car that caused that.
I don't think there was any contact there, just trying to stay with each other, and it just might have cut the curb right there.
Yeah, with cold tires as highly possible.
Absolutely. Cold tires and low downforce. Not a good mix.
Absolutely not.
As off the track, 2 cars following each other. Theodore Bergeson and Max Bartolota go off the track right there. And a big hit off the track. Well, Max putting it to the max limits of the track limits right there, as he has a little bit of a rough time. And speaking of a rough time, Clark Williams has had a rough time as well.
Oh, too wide through Blanchimont. That's just, you know, with low downforce, that's very. Oh, and it
big lock and then crash. Hermer got tagged along right there.
Yeah, locked up the tires, trying to get into
no, this is gone.
Oh
no. Well, if you ever want to wanted to know what a bowling alley is like,
there you go.
This is what happens when you go bowling. And that car is destroyed.
He needs a tow.
he does. You don't want to be right there. You need a tow.
Yeah, you need to get out of that, because that's just, you know, it's kind of a blind corner through there, and if you're not paying attention, you'll just get further damage because somebody's going to come through there and just wipe you out.
Absolutely. You do not want to be in that position.
Here's the replay. 2 wide coming down through Blanchimont. locked up on the inside. Oh, and here's the other incident that we had.
Yeah, Hermer's got
just you know,
the
get little
checkup at
tap in
that
the
point,
back.
and then everything else just goes crazy mode.
Yeah, exactly. You just it's so easy to just tap somebody in the rear, and then you just lost the rear in the car and spins, and now you're a sitting duck more or less, with everybody trying to work through there and get around you at the same time.
So we go back to live pictures right now. Theodore Bergeson chasing out Max Bartolota. They're trying to catch up to Pagoda and Sancho, but they've already created a good sized gap ahead of them, well, behind them, really, as they continue on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's got a nice little second and a half, 2 second gap. And we've seen this before with Sanford, right? Where he'll just get out to a big lead. It looks like he's bringing Pagoda along with him.
Yep, absolutely. Bring on that run and then keep on going. A little bit of a hesitant curb strike, so that might exchange a good amount of speed and a good run for the car behind him. Look at that, the second pack being led by Lee Aberdeen, being chased down by Evan Way and Nicholas Westman as they head into La Source. And out this lap, oh, a little bit of stackament. Oh no, accordion effect. That's another Hydro Race Racing Forces car around it in an incident. They are not going to be happy on this. This is the worst spot you want to be if you're Christian Glamstetter. If he, oh,
yeah,
I was about to say, if he reverses, he's going to be directly in the line of everybody. Oh my God!
Wow.
How do you go all the way over there?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, Rob Doyle went from the inside of the track to the outside of the track and upside down, and Doyle is going to be looking at his car from a different angle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know, if you get a little tap like that and you spin, you want to continue on, but there's just some sections of this track that the chances of you making it through the entire grid without somebody collecting you is very, very low. Especially like the source he was basically hiding around the corner, waiting for somebody to take that inside line.
He was pretty much like a cop at a speed trap. Samuel Herbert trying to find that inside line, and the 48 of Kelstrup said, no, 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 no. I'm going to hold it around the outside, and Herbert goes down to the inside right there. Kelstrup does have front wing damage right there. That was a very dangerous look by Herbert.
Absolutely.
He saw the opportunity and he went for it.
Yeah, it was very tight racing, but that is a good place if you can get your car to turn. That's a good place to make a pass going through Poulan like that. But that was very, very close.
Luca Verani behind these two heading into Blanchemont. He's going to try to swing it around the outside right here. He's backed out of it, thinking wisely. Kelstrup goes across the front nose of Verani. Verani now swinging back onto the outside of the track. Kelstrup stays in front of him right there. Verani is going to be staying behind him and waiting for that next opportunity, probably at the exit of La Source, heading up down that straightaway, because Kelstrup, remember, does have that front wing damage. Let's ride on board of Luca Verani. And
late on the brakes.
Yeah, later on the brakes, doesn't have damage. There goes Kelstrup. Kelstrup's heading into the pit lane, so that is going to free up Verani right there. Lucas, even though he saw him heading into the pits, he's still left space in case that was just in case he was just trying to fake him out.
Yep.
So thinking safely, Luca Verani.
Absolutely. Got a nice 1 second gap ahead of Suarez, and he's it's one of those that you're going to get that toe up the hill. 1 second is about the limit, I think, for these cars on how much
especially in this
we get.
Especially in this wing configuration.
Yeah. So probably did help him a few miles per hour, but not a lot. He didn't make up just a huge amount going up here. But if he can work his way,
Mactar,
racing.
he tried to hold it around the outside right there, but the 17 of Ridgeway did go a little bit deep, and Mactar was all the way out into the grass because Stu Millen wanted to go down to the inside, and here he goes once more. looking down the inside, just trying to see if he can try to make a move heading into Poulon. It's a very dangerous move. We saw that with Hermer making that move. McIntyre going out just a little bit too wide, caught that curb. Here comes Stu. Stu looking out to the inside. Oh, this is a good look right now for Stu Millen. They go side by side right now. Millen and McIntyre. McIntyre stays ahead of Stu Millen.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this or not, but if you look at one of the things about Spa, and it affects some cars more than others, but especially the open wheel cars, is those curbs have basically rises at the end of each curb. So if you hit the curb as it begins or ends, you'll kind of see the cars burn. Yeah, you'll kind of see the cars bounce, which obviously upsets your car, and then you lose a little bit of traction. And if you hit it properly, if you hit it in the worst possible way, you'll go for a big ride.
Yeah, it's not comfy hitting the ends of those curves, and with the serrated edges, they're not. They're definitely there to say, hey, I'm here to help you stay on the track.
Yes.
Don't go over me.
Yeah, here's your track limit.
Here's a track limit. Stay within the white lines. I'm here if you make an oopsie. Don't abuse it. But knowing racing drivers would be like, well, I gained 10th here. It ain't going to feel good, but I'm gaining the time, so I'm just going to use it.
Yep, still up front. Pagoda is now in front of Sandstrom. I'm assuming that was probably a pass up Kimmel. Just got a good run, and so now he's got the half-second gap. And then it'll be Sandstrom's turn, and they get back around to the back stretch, Blanchimont, and then into the bus stop chicane, and then back around to Kimmel again. So we'll see if he can close that gap down here in preparation for the uphill climb.
Yeah, the uphill climb is going to be looking very sweet for Sandstrom and anybody else in a two-car pack. But Sandstrom losing speed to Pagoda. Pagoda pulling away from Sandstrom right now. About 7/10.
He's still close enough that if he gets get a good exit out of there, should be able to close down a tenth or two down the back stretch. I see some traffic in front, so that's going to play into it as well.
He's got to get as close as he can, or else it's not going to be very. It's not going to be very beneficial, because he's coming up into the most technical part of Spa, that famous bus stop and La Source. You head into there and you just have a bad corner, bad two corners, a little bit of a curb, a little bit of a lockup, and there goes your leading opportunity, or your opportunity to catch the draft. He's still within that draft right now, but it's down to 9/10 of a second. So he is falling behind, and Pagoda is putting pedal to the metal right now, trying to lose the gap behind him. This is Evan Way at La Source, going way wide as he's around the outside of Kenzie. Kenzie, I expect, was looking down the inside of Evan Way. Evan Way held around the outside to use that speed to stay ahead. And now he's going to be looking in his mirror, because he's got to watch out, because they're going to be in a drag race right now behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's what we've been talking about since we started the broadcast, is just draft up the hill. So far, there's too wide now. Yep.
Way looked down the inside, and I would think that was more of a defensive line to defend from Kenzie, but Victor Barris is also there as well. Kenzie able to stay through there on Evan Way. Way now, he's being swamped by the drivers on the racing line. He's falling down multiple spots. He's down to 10th now. There's Hermer on his outside.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the part of the race where, okay, we're going to see if we can get a couple spots here and there, make up some positions. As you see, Way is just, he's really off his rhythm right now. He's getting past left and right.
Yeah, there's Gavin Petty on his inside. Way stuck onto the outside, and there's another car that is inside, Pedro Soares. Well, if you want to know what it's like to lose, I think he lost 7 spots in one lap. And there was no incident.
Right.
No incident between them. It was just a wrong positioning. And then, especially at Spa, if you get into the wrong position, everybody's going to soar past you.
You're exactly right. You have to stay on the racing line. You make a move only when you know you can complete the move. Because otherwise, it's just what we just saw is you get swamped by everybody behind, because now you're out of position for every corner.
Yeah, pretty much. You have to be wide as a bull if you get offline around here. Maybe throw open an attack or maybe a defense to try to defend for everybody on that racing line. But in those circumstances, you risk any incident. So Evan kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Let's see if he can bring it back.
I mean, he's still got the cars in front. He's still going to get the draft. The gap in front of him is only like 6/10, so he should get a good tow up the straight. Of course, now everybody in front of him is going to get the same tow.
Yeah.
Because they're all lined up. But it should at
one-
least be a little bit closer so he can at least challenge.
Yeah, the only one not getting that tow is Nicholas Westman, who is at the front of this pack. So let's go look ahead and what's happening to Nicholas up ahead. And that's a pretty sizable gap behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a nice gap.
But Gavin Petty and Samuel Hermer are in a good fight back there. Are they going to be having a little bit of a scrap between each other? Answer that, no.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Nothing really popping out right now. Everybody's kind of just staying in that line, getting into that groove here at Spa. 7 laps down. We're about 1/3 of the race down here. And some of these drivers might start looking after their tires right now. They said, all right, I've done my opening stint. We've missed the chaos at the start. As you can see, there's a few cars that had to go into the pits. Kel Strupp, Steven Ritters, Andy Flint, Kuji Aito, Zoltan Zollmotor, Case Isaac, Glamster, Scatini, Leto, Goyette, Merchant, Goyle, Hernandez, Arroyo, Binwas, and Megora. Swemstra, Gravlung, Blum, Policio, and Williams. They did, all of them are out of the race, actually. Those last 5.
Right. So yeah, for the guys who have already pitted now, it's a matter of just being patient and waiting for chances to come when they get there, and you take them. And otherwise,
it's just a recovery drive. It's just a recovery drive.
It really is, and it's yeah. So you're just trying to take your freebies where you can get them, because you know there's going to be more battles on track. Obviously, once you get to a point where you're getting lapped, just out of the way. And make it easy for the guys who are still challenging for the race lead. Wow.
Well, 3 wide heading into the bus stop. Somebody better check their priorities if they really want to commit right there. But all of us just kept with it. 228. Marcelo Kepler. Well, it looked like Kepler was going to be finishing 3rd after the 3rd bus stop. But Kessler making that one work out right there. Thank you, Simoli, for telling me to look at the different screen than SDK.
Yeah, I was actually just kind of, when I said wow, was Ortloff's just was almost sideways coming through Blanchimont. Just really, you could just tell these drivers have these cars just trimmed out, and it's going to be a struggle, especially as we get closer to the end of this race, because you're just eating through your tires, and it's just going to be worse and worse as the race goes on.
This is Ortloff's chasing down Kessler. So you see a few of the drivers experimenting with the track limits. That's just our GPS of our coded GPS, not the official iRacing track maps. Whenever they go red, they go past our track limits, not the official iRacing track limits. Big lockup right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that was Reed Dennis who's gone just a little bit wide.
Yeah, you can see as we were talking about how tricky it is to get through no name without getting that off track. It is a little, and SDK is a little different than obviously than the iRacing. The iRacing limit's a little bit further out. You can carry a little more through there than you would think, but still very, very difficult corner.
Well, I believe we are using. Also, we never really updated to the new iRacing off tracks.
Right.
Where you can go 4 wheels off this track. You just got to get it right back between a certain time. Ours is using the old iRacing track limits, which if you watch Spa 224, or it usually turned into the national iRacing. Oh, no. 2 McCanns and Richard Van Veen entangled with each other.
Yeah, that's probably another one of those late braking incidents. Somebody had maybe locked up and lost the car.
Well, there's only one way to find out if we want to flirt with disaster with the replay. So yes, we are. This is headed from Blanchemont. Richard Van Veen with a head full of steam, looking down to the inside of two McCanns. Gets onto the brakes, and he locks it up on his own, and then flies over the curb, launched into the air. And very dangerous sausage curb incident right there opposite the head of Owens.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those that you just try to brake as late as you can, hope the car doesn't lock the tires, and you definitely don't want to try and turn. And I think he maybe got a little crossed up and then, yeah, bounced over that sausage and hit Tumekins.
And Richard Van Veen kind of stuck in the middle, and his teammate Evan Way was stuck with right there, trying to get back in the line. Everybody else is around him, and they can just get a free spot. Robert Ridgway, what's going on right now? Robert Ridgway able to get ahead of Richard Van Veen. Van Veen defending onto the inside of Oldest, right behind him. Oldest going really wide. That's going to give him a bit amount of speed heading into Puan, and here it comes. Oldest right now down to the inside, side by side they go, as they are just millimeters apart from each other, still side by side through Puan, and now they're still side by side heading to the next set of quarters, but now it's Richard Van Veen on the inside. He's going to be retaking that spot.
Yeah, it was a good, quick little battle, but very, very nicely done. They managed to keep it off each other, too wide through Buhan. Like I said, you can get that line on the inside, but then the track kind of works against you because now you're on the outside for the next corner.
Yeah, it's definitely worked out for him right there. That as they go back into that draft, they also got 3 cars chasing him down, so they got to watch out. Marcelo Kessler under pressure by Stu Millen behind him. But here comes Oldest on Richard Van Veen. He's going down to the inside right now. Van Veen around the outside. Oldest sends it up onto the inside, and yes, he makes that move work. And look at that, Kessler and Millen side by side in that final corner right there. A little bit of a wheel tap at the exit of that corner, as there goes Kessler and Stu Millen, and Oldslovs ahead of Kessler, and Oldslovs now looking onto the inside of Stu Millen as this little train is chasing out his next target as Paolo Breme and Potapenko involved with each other. And I'm guessing there might have been a little bit of touchy-wutchy in there.
I think you may be right, because that's a really strange place to be parked.
The 5's going very slow, and
what I want to say is I think that the car that was in front, Breme, maybe moved a little bit further outside than Potapenko was expecting, and he just really had nowhere to go. Maybe got a wheel in the grass. Obviously,
yeah, I think he got into the grass right there, because that car looked like it did not even touch the brakes.
Yeah, which obviously, once you're in the grass, that's always what it looks like.
Yes.
And since these cars don't have brake lights per se, we don't really know. But
they got rain lights, but those haven't been activated yet. Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon. So yeah, I think you and I are right on top of that. So it seems like everything's settling down. Yeah, a little bit. Pagoda, obviously he stretched his gap now to a second and a half. There's a second half between Sandstrom and Bartolotta. And then the next battle is Bergerson is trying to work his way into the podium positions. You see it right there. So he's going to get the benefit of this run. He just needs to get clean through Eau Rouge and Rayon so he can get this run up the hill.
Yeah, he's in that draft right now.
Oh, he's got the gap starting to drop down.
He's closing in. He's got his target. Thing is he close enough to go for a move? I don't think so. That's how little draft that these cars give off ahead of him. They're going to have to be focusing on incidents up ahead, as I believe there was a little bit of incident of that car ahead of him. Took a big slide. Now, is that Sandstrom? It is Sandstrom ahead of him. There was a big slide through those set of corners, and Sandstrom is dropping closer and closer to Bartolotta and Bergeson.
Yeah, he was backing off quite a bit. The gap starting to grow between P1 and P2, as we saw Bartolotta go through there just on full chat for that corner. Did a great job just kind of hold it together.
And this is Oates loss, and that is a wheel not on the card.
Yep, I think that's a quick toe back. I'm trying to get the replay spooled up here. So, okay, we'll go back to live action.
About as got a car going slowly down that straightaway. I believe that is just a lapped car. Getting out of third and fourth places way. Bartolotta and Bergeson chasing out Sandstrom now within a second for Max Bartolotta, but he's got to still watch out behind it for Theodore Bergeson. But if they're smart, they ain't going to fight each other. They're just going to work together and try to catch up to Sandstrom up ahead, who is now being caught by these two.
Absolutely, yeah. You stay in line, get the draft, work your way up the hill, close that gap further. They're within 9/10 now of P2. Just keep working. It seems like Sandstrom maybe is a little off the pace. It's still, he's 6/10 slower than the leader that last lap, and a half second slower than the cars behind. So, don't know if he's got an issue with his car or if he's maybe just, I don't know. How about that?
Well,
So
last lap he did have a big slide heading into this corner. I feel like he might have overcooked his tires.
Yeah, and obviously it's hard for those, so you have to let the tires cool. And a lot of times you don't get the same performance out of them. It's just funny and just watching him.
He's also cooking the tires.
I was gonna say, he's just dirt carring that around the track right now. It's fun to
Soares and Hermer are off the track. And this is at the end of the straightaway. What's happened to Pedro Soares and Samuel Hermer? Both of them look all right, but there's definitely some contact between these two.
I'm going to say that's a side-by-side move through Lacombe, and it didn't work out.
Well, let's see what happened. Well, they're definitely side-by-side through there. And I'm guessing they stay side-by-side into the brake zone. Yes, they do. Around the house. Oh, no. Just, I think Pedro is just a little bit on the outside, and then a little bit deeper into one corner, and both of them just kind of tried to carry side by side through there, and unfortunately didn't work out. That kind of reminds me of the Nico hit me incident, but I think Pedro Soares has damage on the back right wheel.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he's really having a tough time keeping the car on the track and getting it back. He's trying to get back to save that toe so he can get his fast repair and get back out without losing too much time, because you can carry more speed this way than if you're towing. But obviously, it's a little more difficult to handle this race car right now.
Absolutely, that car looks like it's a crab on a beach. The way that's crab down straight, it's not that bad of a crab. He's holding a nice. I would say that's about 75-degree angle on the wheel. And remember, this is the classic pit. This is not the regular pit. So he's got to wheel it around the two hardest corners if you're got a damaged car. So it's not the first one. No, those cones means don't go there. It'll be the second one. So he's gonna have to watch out. There's a big train up behind him, so he's gonna be holding down that inside line and try to keep it going straight. But if you look at that car, it's a little bit difficult.
Let's call that straight-ish. We'll call that straight. But yeah, he did a good job to get it back. He didn't get in anybody's way, so good on him for keeping the car offline and getting back safely. Didn't push it to where he would, damage the car further or end up sideways in the middle of the track.
Luca Verani making the move right there, and very well defended by Lucas Maruk, because Evan Way, he was about to follow Luca Verani right there, but Maruk got the car onto the inside and easily blocked that. And touch by Verani onto Maruk.
Yeah, a little wheel touch there.
And Way, he's ducked down to the inside, but he might have backed out just a little bit too long, because Maruk is still there on his outside through Pouon. And here comes Philip Lucas as well. Lucas had a head full of steam through Puan. He's going to try to hold it around the outside of not one, but two cars.
It's a great side-by-side racing right here. Everybody's being really cool about giving the other drivers room, but they're battling hard, but they're battling clean. So what do we like to see? And here comes the next little draft.
Yeah, Lucas Baruch at the back end of this train being led by Evan Way. They both go onto the outside right now. They are technically three wide right now through Blanchimont. Ladies and gentlemen, side by side through Blanchimont around the outside. And oh no, Way's in the wall.
It's just, it's so difficult to go too wide through there with low downforce.
Oh, that is so unfortunate for Evan Way. Big hit into the wall.
Yeah, and that's obviously it's a quick tow back to the pits, and so he'll be sitting there. He gets a couple minutes to kind of fume for a minute, and then kind of reset and get back on the track and see if he can make up a spot or two. Starting to get later in the race, we're past the halfway point now, so the chances are going to be. Yeah, he is. He's down to P3.
It's going to be four.
On him. Yeah,
Theodore's on him right there. Max Bartolota got past Sandstrom while we were looking at the Evan Way fight. And way off the track goes Theodore.
So just so Sandstrom that last lap was 2:11.97. The two front-running cars set the fastest lap overall. And identical down to the hook. So 2:11.02. So yes, I'm not sure what's going on with Sandstrom. He's normally, we've seen him the last couple of 3 weeks. He's usually at the front, usually dominant at the front.
Well, it might just be a Spa thing. Some drivers are not good at Spa.
It may be. Yeah, it may be he's more comfortable with a higher downforce setup and thought that he needed to compete by running a low downforce. It could be that he's caught one of those curves and maybe had some floor damage, so he doesn't have the same top speed.
Ooh, big slide around the outside by Theodore Bergeson.
Yeah, it was a great move, and he held it and managed to get past. Once again, obviously, that's probably the most dangerous overtake on this track, because you're at full speed, and it's just the car just wants to go straight. It doesn't not want to make that corner. So well done by Bergeson. It was a great pass.
Yeah, fantastic pass by Theodore Bergeson. I believe Sandstrom does have overcooked the tires, and really the front tires on his car are not holding the same amount of grip that they would hold, and that's really hurting him lap time wise. He's in that draft right now, but he's not going to go for that move. He's just going to try to. He's just going to try to ride there and save this race. Because remember, there are no drop weeks in iGP Fun this season. All 10 rounds will be counted because there are only 10 rounds. As you can see, Bergeson really holding that car to his edge of grip and just pulling away from Sandstrom, because if Sandstrom tried to do that, he'd be spinning out.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he doesn't look like the nose wants to cooperate with him very much. So I think you may be onto something about those front tires.
Because I heard a giant slide when Bergeson and Bartolota were chasing down Sandstrom and Brigotto. And then I just saw Sandstrom's time. Oh, no, that's Westman in the wall.
I think that's another one of those, maybe too hard on the brakes, lock up.
I think that might have been grass involved. Oh, he's got onto that very risen curb and bam into the wall. Surprised it didn't really damage the wing. It didn't give him an Italian rear wing.
Nope. It looks like the car's still pretty straight. Of course, we get a little lucky.
That car's not straight. Easy. That's Pudakelis on the exit of No Name Corner. And that is right on the racing line too for Oldest. So that is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, but good on him once again. Paying attention to your relative making sure that you're not going to pull straight out in front of somebody there.
And heads up by the other drivers too, because that's a blind corner.
It is, for sure.
Currently, it's not a blind corner because they added that shorter corner for the moto layout here at Spa, and they just taken out that inside wall that is right there, so you can actually see the exit at that corner when you head into there now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting to hopefully we'll get an update hashtag soon on this track, and we'll have to the no name corner. We'll have Jackie X corner, which is what it's been named as now.
Jackie X corner, and with the gravel trap on the exit, and also with about a 2-inch drop off of height. Sandstrom, oh, you see that? You see on how Sandstrom's car does not want to turn right there. He took another big slide, and now Bergeson is just all over him. Sandstrom is really struggling with that car. It's just not biting for him.
Yeah, I think if I'm Bergeson, I'm probably just going to kind of lay here and wait. Let those tires wear down a little bit more. Sandstrom's going to be pretty easy to pick off, I think, toward the end of this race.
I wouldn't wait. I'd go for it right now and then try to pull out that gap on Sandstrom and then not worry. Oh, I don't think I have to worry about that anymore. Sandstrom, big slide through there. Brings it out to check up to avoid getting into an incident.
Yeah, you know what? As we're sitting there watching that, being behind him is probably not the best position to be in. As we see somebody that's been in the gravel, threw up some dust.
And every time you see Sandstrom turning that car, it looks like the back end is just going into a controlled slide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we will see that a lot of these cars with the downforce levels that they're not running.
it looks like a Skippy.
Yeah.
Which is really how you drive the car. You just throw that thing into a control slide. But you can see Bergeson. Oh, Bergeson, he's defending the inside. What are you trying to throw it down? Where gap are you looking for? We found the gap eventually, but that initial gap was smaller than the hole on a threading needle.
Yeah, it was. It was very tight. Sandstrom wanted to defend it, but just
all in his right to defend it right there too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he didn't make any sudden moves. He was on the inside line the entire time. So it was a good line, but then as he feathered out, Bergeson just stayed on the inside and was able to break a little later than Sandstrom and make the pass.
I think Sandstrom saw him just right there and like, what is he trying to do right here? Bergeson just pretty much tried to brute force his way down the inside.
Yeah, I think, okay, so we're watching the gap. It was at 5200s down to 33, 32, 25. So he's getting about a quarter second toe up the hill. But, you know, he had a pretty good gap. I think if Sandstrom or if Bergeson can run a decent lap and get out to like 8 or 9 tenths, I think that's pretty much done. I don't think Sandstrom's going to be able to make that time up on him.
And look how much wheel input he's putting into those turns right there. This is not what you want to do if you're saving tires. They're catching up the lap traffic as well. So this is going to be playing into Bergeson's hands, but this might play into Sandstrom's hands as well because that lap traffic, they're fighting each other.
Absolutely. There's still positions on the table on offers. So, yep. So, but that was nicely done by that car to let them go by.
Was side by side, decided it's not worth it. Big slide by Bergeson. Sandstrom still in there right now.
Yeah, they're coming up on Tumakans, who had an incident earlier. Is down in 44th, so they're going to see if they can work their way around him and Welch in 43rd. So a little bit of about
going to be in that draft.
Gap. Yep.
But where will he catch Tumakans? I think Tumakans is lifting off right. No, he's not. Yes, he is. There he goes. Lifts off right there. But oh, wrong place, wrong time for Sandstrom. Oh, this is going to be tight. Oh, he had to go off the track to make that one work, but that was wrong place, wrong time for Jesper Sandstrom. Been catching that lapped car, and that really hurt that gap. Now 1 second separates these two, and he took a bit of oversteer off the exit, and that lap traffic definitely was the one that helped Bergeson. And oh, it's also helping him once more. To Sandstrom, unable to get the entire length of the track right there on the entry to be making that move work, as Bergeson is now 1 second clear of Sandstrom behind him, and now that 2/10 toll that he got for being about 3/10 behind him is not going to be there anymore.
No, he'll get a little bit, but it won't be nearly as much as he got the last time. The gap's way out there, 8/10. Oh, you know what? I'll say what? He got a really good toe up there. I was actually shocked. So he may be really, really trimmed out on that car.
Yeah, unfortunately, those tires may not be very thankful for that trimmed out thing. There's probably just going to be, no, they're probably going to be screaming if tires did have voices. I know the Michelin man does. He's got a mouth.
He does. So yeah, as far as we talked
These are
about
not Michelins, I believe. I believe they're Hankook.
I think they are Hancock. So we were talking about the lap cars. One of the I guess you try and be nice when you're on the track. You try if you're a back marker, you say I'm just going to try and stay out of the way. But then if Tomlikins, I think if he stays in that and keeps his speed going, I think Bergerson gets him after Blanchimont. I don't think Bergerson would actually try and make that move on a lap car, especially on the outside. But then, put Sandstrom in a bad spot, obviously, because now he's got to deal with them in the middle of the corner, as we saw. It just went wide.
Yeah, I feel like these drivers are just saying, all right, no one's around me. I can go a little bit wider here.
Yeah.
But that's allowed Sandstrom to catch him up pretty well, because if you go wide throughout that final corner, the car's not making contact with the ground for a little bit. 6/10 now separates them. No lap traffic to help Bergeson this time. Sandstrom bringing that gap back.
He is trying. I mean, give him some credit. He has made that gap back up, and now he's back in that position where he can make that run up Kimmel. I think he's 5/10. It's closing. I think he's still too far out at this point, but that was a really good lap by him at 6/10 gain over the course of the lap over P3. Bergerson taking the inside line, trying to block off that pass.
You can't block off the speed that Sandstrom had.
Wow.
Around the outside. Beautiful move by Jesper Sandstrom. Back into third place. He got that toe and the trimmed out Scandinavian missile of Jesper Sandstrom back into third place. But can that car stay together and those tires stay alive in these final few laps?
Yeah, that's going to be the question that's going to get answered here very shortly as we're coming up to 2 laps to go to the end of this race. I mean, Bergerson's not letting him go at all. He's keeping the gap within 2/10. He's staying right on his tail. He'll be prepping for another move, probably on the back stretch, or he'll hold out and maybe wait, get his own run up the hill.
As a little bit of gravel caught for Bergeson, chasing down Sandstrom. Sandstrom has got to watch out. Bergeson in that draft. He's looking for another move around Blanchimont. Think about last time what you did, Sandstrom. Bergeson try to hold it around that outside and then stay on that outside line, turning into the inside line. Through Blanchimont they go. And same again. Sandstrom holding that inside line, but he opens up that inside line for Bergeson to try to go for it. He does not. He stays with Sandstrom this time by. He's going for another round. He's looking for Lecombe.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the best place. Obviously, that's the place you want to try and pass.
It's the biggest straightaway on track, so go for it.
That's right. And what you're going to see probably is Sandstrom going to the inside, try to take that defensive line, make him go the long way around as we see another car off track, Gavin Petty. It looks like he made contact with the wall. I think he did. Oh, that car's broken.
Yeah, that's contact with the wall, and a lot of things not supposed to be the way that they are.
As we get a shot here of Barris. Oh, yeah.
And then, well, that's the 1-2 punch knockout right there for Victor Barris.
Yeah. As you like to say, that was a little too much mustard coming out of that corner.
Yeah.
Just lift the rears up, and here you are. Now you're a new roadblock for the drivers. Well, I guess fortunately that's a pretty quick toe. So you're in there, you're back in your pit in less than a minute, and you can get your fast repair and get back out on the track. As I see Petty's dropping that, he's down to P24 now on the board. Bergerson's back in front of Sandstrom. I'm going to guess that he made the move up the hill.
Yes, he did.
To successfully get around.
Yes.
So he's back around now with, I think we're 2 to go at the line. So he's back in P3. Sandstrom still in P4. Still, obviously, as we've seen, he's still well within draft range to make that pass again. Back up the hill the next lap.
Sandstrom in that draft, but I think he's just waiting for that opportunity. Bergeson, big kick of oversteer off that exit, the exit of that bus stop chicane. Looking a little bit worn down here today.
Yeah.
With all those tire marks. Hey, it looks like he's gone through a 24-hour race. We've only been here for 40 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these tires will be donated to the next tire barrier that's to be built. There'll be no more life left in them by the time this race is over.
Absolutely. These tires are pretty much cooked, way overdone, and these are not the best tires to have on your car. So, yes, they'll be definitely donated back to the factories and recycled into new tires.
Yeah.
Or just thrown into walls.
Yeah, you see the weave going there, trying to break the draft up the hill, which was successful. He did close it up. Yeah, so he did close up the gap a bit, but no chance for him to make a move on that one.
But Sandstrom still chasing him down. Also being chased down is Samuel Hermer, being chased by Lucas Marut. Marut looking out to the inside. Just too far back to be making that move, and you want to know why? Hermer was in the draft of Verani.
Yeah, it's just still battling in the top 10, so these guys are having a good race, and they're going to say, we'll take this, and we'll go on to the next one. I don't think, if the opportunity arises, we'll take a flyer on a spot, but we're not going to push our luck at this point with a little over a lap left and basically cords left on your tires. Shout out to Luca Verani. They're running in P7. He's had a really good race. I think he started much further down the field than this, so he's having a good run.
Yeah, Ferrari's great race, up 10 spots. Biggest mover of the race is up 28 spots. Actually, there's 2 of them. And they're right next to each other, Stiletto and Carney.
Wow, that is a good run. I mean, that's starting in the back and just, just minding their business and staying out of everybody's way.
And look at
having a pretty decent result.
Hey, look at the rear wing of Nick Carney. He's on our high downforce strategy.
There we go. Somebody
there we go. Good on you, Nick Carney.
That's right.
We're showing you bias. He's looking for number 29 right now as Stiletto goes a little bit wide through Puwan. Carney is able to hold that inside line. He's looking for the inside line once more. That big wing of his can make it work in the braking zone, but on the straightaway, it's not looking like it's the best friend for him, but he's definitely making it work in the corners. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go for Pagono as Bergeson and Sandstrom go side by side. Sandstrom, he's calling a shot, looking out to the inside right now. Bergeson's holding around the outside. Sandstrom trying to hold it around the outside right now. Now Sandstrom and Bergeson, they swap spots once more, and Sandstrom's back into 3rd place. Bergeson back into 4th. And the last lap opportunity. Bergeson now last. Oh, man, he wanted to go for that move right down to the inside. Didn't want to give up that spot immediately, but he's going to have to take a break, take a breath, and then go. Oh, hello.
Very wide.
Well, take a breath, take a break, then go throw everything you have against the wall. He is no holds barred right now, Theodore Bergeson.
Yeah, he
2
is.
Scandinavian drivers are going at it, going at each other right now, and they don't care who's watching. This is a barroom brawl fight, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's setting this up. He wants that inside at the end of this last straightaway. He wants to come out of Paul Frere, down to Blanchemont, into the bus stop chicane, and he's got to be right there. He's a 1/4 second back.
Well, last lap opportunity for Sandstrom and Bergeson. Bergeson, he is closing down. He's in that draft through Blanchimont right now. Sandstrom's going to be defending onto that outside. Yes, there he goes. Bergeson immediately going down to the outside now, and Sandstrom breaks early. Bergeson goes later, but Bergeson, he loses control of the car, and here comes Sandstrom with no loss of control. He's going to have the speed. They're going to be side by side across not the start-finish line. They got 1 quarter to go. Bergeson onto the inside, Sandstrom onto the outside. That mistake by Bergeson helped him have that inside line. Through the source they go. Bergeson all the way towards the wall, almost oversteers the car. It's going to be a drag race because Sandstrom, he's got all the grip. They're going towards the line. It's side by side. Sandstrom's got him at the line by 200ths of a second. It's Sandstrom with the save.
Wow. There we go. Oh,
and last lap crash. Verani and Maruk make contact. Luca Verani is around, but Lucas Maruk realized his mistake and letting him by. That's sportsmanship right there.
Very nice sportsmanship.
Gianfranco Pagotto takes the win of the race, 6.7 seconds ahead of everybody else. I couldn't find any data for Gianfranco Pagotto, but I do know his name from the Apex Racing League Formula 3 series. This is his iGPFun Formula 3 series first win this season. I believe he's raced in other seasons before. Other fights throughout. This is for number 28 for Nick Carty. 27 spots equally gained by both of them. He's got 1 corner to become the biggest mover, else he's going to be sharing it with the car ahead of him, Giovanni Soletto. They are nose tail right now. Oh, he's already showing his move. He wants to go down to the inside at Lesource, but it's too little too late. Too far back to be making that move. So Nick Carty and Giovanni Soletto will be both the biggest mover here today at 27 spots overtaken, as well as Jose Arroyo. We got a 3-way tie. We're going to be, oh, no. Reverse it. You get, oh, and, oh, no. Oh, no. Well, he got overtaken at the line. Oh, not by 1, but by 2 cars. And I'm going to be honest, that is what you call a massive commentator's curse, and I'm going to be hated by a fellow Texan for the rest of my life. I'm sorry.
It was a good run by him, though. He still picked up over 20 positions. So,
yeah, 24 spots, but he was 3-way tie for 27th. Oh. Well, all eyes are on Gianfranco Pagotto as he takes today's win. He's even done another extra lap, and I feel like we might get a little bit of a smoke show on the front straightaway.
Yeah, it was a pretty, once he got clear of Sandstrom, he just kind of set sail, and there was nobody really could keep up with him today.
Yeah, first race this season for Gianfranco, so he is your race winner today, and he's enjoying this victory lap here. So he heads up into the pits.
Wow.
To go celebrate this win.
Here we go.
I wish more single seater cars, burn it down, but we're Southern Americans. We both love the fast and loud and the smoky.
Absolutely.
Here's their full race results. It's Gianfranco Pagotto takes the win, followed by Max Bartolotto, Chester Sandstrom, Theodore Bergeson, Lee Aberdeen, Kenzie Nywoff, Samuel Hermer, Luca Verani, followed by Lucas Baruch, Philip Lucas, Adam Townsville, Will McIntyre Jones, Ryan Berry, Shaq Williams, George Kelstrup, Robert Ridgway, and Nicholas Westwood, followed by Stu Millen in 18th. They're followed by Marcelo Kessler, Stephen Ritters, Andy Flint, Richard Van Veen, Edward Amos, Gavin Petty, Pedro Soares, Oldest Budicalis, Zoltan Zollmutter, Giovanni Soletto, Nick Carty, Alan Lee, Matthew Gracie, Case Isaac, Matt Brewer, Alex Lato, Philip Barris, Victor. I just gave you a random first name. Victor Barris, Jose Arroyo, Potopenko, and Evan Way in 38th. They're followed by Reno Scattini, Maximilian Gethart, Daniel Merchant, Ben Goyette, Erwin Tumakans, Juan Hernandez, Marquez Otlovs, Dorian Arroyo, Robert Doyle, followed by Arturo Mayugora, Paulo Breme, John Welsh, Kuji Aito, Reed Dennis, John McKenzie, Christian Glamsetter, Tom Blindloss, Sebastian Gravlund, Kevin Swemstra, Julio Policio, Clark Williams, and Yours Bloom at the end of our 60-car grid. Wow, what a day.
Yeah, what a great race. It was, there was obviously the chaos that we expected with this huge grid at Spa. But overall, was a really fantastic race at the front of the field. Some really good battles in amongst the mid-pack. It was a fun race to watch. I really enjoyed it.
It really was a fun race here at Spa. A lot of people look forward to this race. I'm expecting not a lot of people will be looking forward to next week as we head to one of our favorite circuits. We're heading back to California. It's for Long Beach time. It's street racing next week. Thank you all for joining us here on Apex Racing TV. I've been joined by Charles Boschel with Sam Mooley Kumo in the production booth. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.